So whether it's from Forbes, Kiplinger's Personal Finance, US News, or various other national news outlets, Winston-Salem and the surrounding area is consistently ranked as one of the best places to retire in the country. As a matter of fact, Bermuda Run was just ranked the #1 affordable place to retire in the country by Realtor.com. So what I want to do today is I want to talk about some do's and more importantly some don'ts on what to do if you're thinking about retiring to Winston-Salem or the surrounding area. If you like this, let me know. Maybe we'll follow up with a part 2. Just drop me a comment below or reach out. I'm Jeff Valentino. I love helping people buy and sell real estate. If that's you, my contact information is below. So the first thing to do, first do is to know the different areas of Winston-Salem and the suburbs. The reason why this is really important is because the area can vary so much in such a small geographical spot. You can have inner city feeling neighborhoods where the houses are really close together, small lots in neighborhoods like Ardmore and West End, or you can have more spacious upscale neighborhoods like Buena Vista, or you can have some that have a more suburban feeling like Sherwood Forest. As a matter of fact, if you just get outside the city, it can start to feel a lot like a suburb, even though you're about 10 or 12 minutes from downtown. But also the suburbs around Winston-Salem, they have really distinct feels to them all their own. Whether we're talking about Kernersville, which is right in between Winston-Salem and Greensboro, or Clemens or Louisville, or even just a little bit further out, but still 15 to 20 minutes from downtown, you have, like we just mentioned, Bermuda Run and Advance, very popular places to retire, but take some time to do some research on these areas. I have videos on lots of them, but they are all going to have a very distinct feel. They're going to have different amenities and different lifestyles. So if you like to hike, or you like to bike, or you like to bird watch, or you need to be close to certain types of shopping, these are all going to have a big impact on places that you want to retire to. Are you looking to get rid of the car or minimize the use of your car? That's going to be a much different area if you don't mind driving all the time still. So the first do again is take some time, really dig into the different areas. If you want to talk through any of that, reach out. I'm happy to go over some of that with you, either in an in-person meeting, on Zoom, telephone, whatever's best. But just really start to do some research on these different areas to start narrowing it down geographically. Now the first don't when you're looking to retire to Winston-Salem is don't expect lots of attached housing. And what I mean by that, a lot of people when they're looking to retire, they're looking for condo life or townhome life. And there simply isn't a lot of that in Winston-Salem. Now, don't take that as to there's none, because there is some, but it just doesn't have the really large condo communities like if you were to retire in, say, Florida, where I'm just working with a client now coming from leaving the condo, was looking for a condo here, and there's just not a huge selection of condos here in Winston-Salem. Similar story with townhomes. Sure, there are some townhome communities in here and some that retired people tend to like more than others, but it's not going to have, multitudes of choices like that you would see in other popular retirement areas. What we tend to see more here is a lot of single family homes with typically some type of yard to maintain unless the HOA does that for you, but the things that go along with owning a home as far as maintenance and things like that. Now there are going to be some detached single family home communities that retired people tend to enjoy a lot, where they're going to have HOAs that are going to take care of a lot of that exterior maintenance, yard maintenance, like you would have in a townhome or condo community. They're just detached houses. Now some of these are also going to be duplexes where you have homes side by side. If that's an absolute must-have, sure, we'll probably be able to find something to accommodate you, but I just want you to know that if you're expecting a lot of attached housing communities, there's not a ton of them here. We do see patio homes that are becoming more popular, where it's going to be small or like a cluster homes where the homes are a little bit closer together that tend to be geared toward people of retirement age a little bit more, but again, not a ton of attached housing or tall condo buildings and things like that. The next do when retiring to Winston-Salem is really understand where the healthcare providers are, and if you have specific concerns, where those healthcare providers would be. In the city of Winston-Salem, right near downtown, you have Novant Health, and my favorite hospital with the longest name, you have Atrium Health, Wake Forest Baptist. Those are right in the downtown area, right near Ardmore. So that's going to be really simple to commute from a lot of areas right closer within the city. Just outside Winston-Salem, actually in Bermuda Run that we just mentioned, we have Davie Medical Center, which is another Atrium Health Wake Forest Baptist facility. It's a newer facility right in Bermuda Run. Really nice place. I've been there a couple times. But there are also other award-winning facilities throughout the city and the suburbs. So again, figure out where your healthcare providers are going to be. There's a lot of quality ones around here. It's one of the biggest job sectors in Forsyth County. So the whole Winston-Salem area is healthcare. So you're going to have lots of options. You're going to have a lot of quality options. But again, if you're looking for specifics or you're going to have specific needs, let's start taking a look at some of those things and see where you're going to be so that commute makes sense for you. The next don't when you're retiring to Winston-Salem, North Carolina is don't depend on national headlines for the local real estate market news, pricing, and trends. You've probably heard real estate is local, and we talk about this a lot on the monthly market updates. But I want to show one thing here that's really going to put this into perspective for you. Now what this is the latest update on equity gained throughout the country. It's going to compare the country to Winston-Salem, where you will see equity gained and equity lost over the previous year. So this is the most recent update, and what you're going to see, the national number, homes have lost a little over $3,200 in equity across the country in the past year. Now, Winston-Salem obviously is different than that, but take a look at this number. Winston-Salem has gained over $6,200 in equity in that exact same time. What that means is the Winston-Salem is generally going against the national averages, where we've seen overall prices come down a little bit nationwide. In the past year in Winston-Salem, we've seen them go up, where people have actually gained equity over the last year. Again, this is all going to be local, even within the city with different neighborhoods, different suburbs and things like that. This is the Winston-Salem area as a whole, but that's why it's important to have someone that you trust or a source that you can trust to really break down and talk through these numbers if you're looking to purchase a home, condo, townhome, whatever, when you retire here. It's really important to get local numbers, because if you just look on the national news, you can hear everything from crashes to price reductions to all kinds of stuff that you can hear, where it just might not be the case in a very specific local market. The next do is to know your taxes. One of the reasons in general North Carolina is popular for people to retire to, but even Winston-Salem, because of its affordability, is North Carolina has a really retirement-friendly tax system. Now, I'm not a CPA or accountant, but I can help you talk through some of the basics and understand whether it's capital gains on a property that you're selling to buy here and basic things like that. But here are some things to know about taxes in North Carolina. There is no estate tax in North Carolina. Now, you still have to do with federal taxes, but if you have an estate, there are no state levied estate taxes in North Carolina, which is awesome. Also, there is no state taxes on Social Security income and certain types of pension income. So again, very retirement friendly, because you're not having that state tax removed from your Social Security payments and certain types of pensions. Now, outside of that, we do have a state income tax. Obviously, good news on that. It's been going down the last few years. Our state income tax is a flat tax. And like I just said, unbelievably, that state income tax has actually been going down the last few years. In 2023, it was 4.99% flat rate. And in 2024, it's going to come down again to 4.75%. Again, this is a flat state income tax for everyone, but not on your Social Security income and certain types of pension. If you have income outside of that, if you have a job or something like that, you'll pay state income tax on that. But again, it is that flat rate, which is trending down, which is amazing, especially considering where I moved from, the suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. I don't know if taxes have ever gone down there. It's been refreshing to see in North Carolina, through managing their money properly, the state has actually been able to lower our income tax over the last few years in a row. When you combine these with much lower than average property taxes in North Carolina, it can really make living here much more affordable than where you're living from. I have some clients that are just retiring here from Florida, and when they told me what they were paying for homeowners insurance and their automobile insurance, I was almost knocked over. I couldn't believe how much it was, well over $6,000 a year for homeowners insurance and auto. When they came to North Carolina, they were paying, I believe it was right around $2,000 a year for homeowners insurance and 2 automobiles. So that's a huge savings for them every year. That is one of the great perks that you should know about if you're thinking about retiring in Winston-Salem. The next don't when retiring to Winston-Salem, North Carolina is don't think it's always warm because it's the South. Don't think it's always hot because it's the South either. Winston-Salem has 4 very distinct seasons. When I'm recording this, we just finished up with an amazing, beautiful, long fall, which was probably my favorite season of the year. But this is end of November when I'm recording, and we got temperatures down into the low 30s the last 2 days. I believe this morning we actually had some frost as well. So be prepared to deal with some kind of cold, especially those clients that just came from Florida. I just got done with clients that are coming from Arizona, and while they're happy to escape the heat, they were a little shocked this morning before closing when they got up and it was cold and they have to have their winter coats on. But then by the time we got we did our walkthrough, went to closing, and it's in the 50s again. You could take your jacket off. So just be prepared for some of those temperature swings, especially throughout the winter, because the mornings can start out really cold, but good news, generally it does warm up throughout the day. Now, if I can be a resource for you, if you're looking to retire to Winston-Salem or anywhere in the Triad, I'd love to do that. You can reach out to me directly at jeff@govalentino.com. Thanks.